So after successfully completing the Functional Movement Specialist course, quite a few of my peers reached out wondering why I chose that as the next designation relative to my professional development. And it's a great question and something that I wanted to make a video on for two reasons. One, I want to stress the importance of further education in terms of professional career development to other coaches, and two, because I do want to clarify why I chose that, considering all of the course options that there are currently available online. So the first thing, I have a very strong opinion on this, but as a professional, I believe you are doing an incredible disservice, not only to yourself in a self-limiting sense, but also to your team, the individuals you work with, the future clients you may work with. If you have an I know it all or I have all the answers mentality from the get-go, the reality is that nobody has all the answers. And with so much knowledge readily available, you can take a course, you can read a book, you can go to a seminar, you can get an apprentice or mentorship style learning experience where you can gain so much more knowledge, and it's so easily accessible compared to even just 2 decades ago that it almost doesn't make sense to not thirst for that easily accessible, readily available information. And it's only going to allow you to become more proficient at whatever your area of expertise is. It's only going to expand your knowledge base and your capacity to coach competently and to, in a general sense, improve your business know-how depending on what exactly you're researching and trying to further understand. But at no point does having more of that information really hinder you, as long as you can find a way to efficiently and effectively apply that new knowledge that you've gained. And so, knowing as much, I'm always a proponent of further education, granted that the individual you're learning from, or individuals or organizations, are reputable, or at least individuals or organizations that you personally hold in high regard. So from that point, building off of that, the question specifically was why I chose that designation, why I went with the Functional Movement Specialist course from Gray Cook. And personally, every 3 to 4 months, I try and audit my position in terms of self-development. And I'm very self-critical, I'm a hyper-perfectionist, I'm very competitive, and what I was finding over the last few months, and to be completely honest, probably since the beginning of my career as a professional coach, was that when it came to mobility, I really didn't know all that much at all. In fact, I was at the point where I knew so little at one point that when there was an issue, I just tried to avoid the issue altogether. And if someone couldn't do an exercise properly, I just removed the exercise entirely from their programming and then carried on with things that they were able to do. But I was getting frustrated because there were things that I wanted clients to be able to do, but I didn't know how to bridge the gap. I could identify that they weren't able to do them safely or effectively, but I wasn't sure how to get them from ineffective, unable to perform, to being able to. And that was frustrating to me because I knew they would benefit dramatically if they were able to do those exercises properly. So that frustration kept building and building and building to the point where I finally said, you know what, I need to figure out how to increase my knowledge. So not only can I identify exactly what the restrictions or motor control deficiencies were, because sometimes I could, sometimes I knew exactly why someone couldn't do something, I just couldn't figure out how to fix it. But other times I had no idea why they couldn't do it. I just knew that they couldn't do it well, but I wasn't sure what was stopping them from doing it well. So I figured I need to understand this better. And upon doing my research, yes, there's a lot of one-off books. Yes, there's a lot of courses and information products out there that you can take. But what I really liked about what Gray Cook and his team had done is it actually created a systemized, structured approach to screening individuals from day one. And the screen was very measurable, and as I often say, Peter Drucker said in a famous quote, if you can't measure it, you cannot manage it. And that's crucial, and that's why systems and structure is so important, because it allows you to measure things and go back and see what's working, what's not working, to make sure that you are, in fact, in a measurable sense, moving people, even if slowly, along a continuum relative to progressive outcomes, whether it be weight loss, whether it be strength development, or in this case specifically, whether it be mobility restriction improvement and motor control deficiency improvement. And so I said, you know what, I love the fact that they have this 7 movement screen that looks at people and their individual restrictions and deficiencies. And then from the feedback you get, you can either refer out, depending on what you might find, or if the issues are not so bad, are not so extreme, you can actually identify what will help them move forward. And I loved the black and white measurability of this screen, as well as the modified screen that they had available for special populations that might not be able to benefit, or not necessarily benefit, that's not the right word, but who wouldn't be able to efficiently go through the screen. So they have the full screen and then they have a modified screen, both of which give you a base foundation to move forward with. And so this is great on an individual basis, because somebody might come in who looks to be fit, but might have one area that is grossly underdeveloped or deficient, and you can spot that. And so now, programming wise, when working on an individual basis, which we do a lot of here at the facility, we can say, wow, 6 of these 7 things are excellent. This one thing requires more individualization than you might otherwise have assumed if you were only to look at someone in a very general sense. And so you can continue their normal strength training progressions as you would if they were perfect 10 out of 10, but then you can prioritize that one area, fix those restrictions or deficiencies, and move forward. And because the screen is so measurable, so manageable, you can then go back and recheck and make sure that the things you're applying are actually getting you the yield that you want. And so that was very attractive to me as a coach, because there's a way to test and retest. To test, apply, and then go back and make sure what you're doing is helping people improve. It's actually adding value. And that's kind of why I went with the functional movement screen overall, because there was a structure, there was a system to the information they were giving you. It was practical. It was something you could apply in a real world setting. It wasn't just, here's a bunch of information, answer some questions and done. It was, not only is this the information that's going to benefit your clientele, that's going to improve your base of knowledge as a coach and allow you to coach with a greater level of competency, but it's also going to be something you can apply, and here's how we suggest you apply it. And I thought that was amazing. I thought that was so beneficial, because it was bridging a gap that we were struggling with. It was helping us bring clients to the efficient and effective programming that we already had in place and that we're already building upon. It really fixed one of our weak links, and so I'm extremely excited to not only have gained all of that knowledge, to further have a structure, a system that can be applied so efficiently and benefit so many of our current members as well as future clients coming in the door. And then on top of that, it brings up our weak links, and that's always important to do, because at the end of the day, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So further education is crucial, and making sure that you're identifying what you struggle with, because just like in training, what you enjoy might not be what you need. As is with further education, what you're already competent at and confident with in terms of knowledge might not be where you need to apply yourself further.